when you're finding new writers or new shows, do you find that you're looking within NBC with interns or people starting out, or are you going to outside writers and people submitting specs?
That's a good question. I'm a big advocate of expanding the talent pool, because purely from a business standpoint, it's great to have a really, really big talent pool because it drives the price of the talent down. So, not what you want to hear, but it's kind of the way I feel. But the way we look for talent, and NBC is on the cutting edge, frankly, of this, is not only are we looking to find new talent, but we are really, really having a very exerted effort in finding diverse talent. Because television has been a bastion of white males for way too long, speaking as a white man. And so we have a lot of outreach programs. We have Writers on the Verge. We have a diversity writers program where NBC funds a staff writer on every one of our shows out of our own network budget, so it's not on the show budgets, to have a diverse writer on staff. And we hope to grow those writers from being just a baby staff writer to showrunner. And we've been able to accomplish that in recent years. Sometimes we keep them in-house. A lot of times they go off and become showrunners at other networks, but we put them into the system. And I'd say that the most natural way for someone to start off as a writer is being a writer's assistant, and kind of being exposed to a show, being exposed to the writer's room, and then eventually coming up through the system there and becoming a staff writer. And it's very important for us to really kind of nurture that. Me too.
How is it, so what I understood is ratings, I know, is about number of people you watch, but I understood is how does this network monitor ratings? How does it monitor many people watching? How does it work?
Well, the ratings, ratings has been a monopoly for a number of years. The ratings measurement system has been a monopoly forever by the Nielsen company. And the way they do it, it's evolved over time, frankly not fast enough. But the way they do it is they pick a sample of viewers across the country that they believe represents every demographic, socioeconomic, psychographic segment of America. And they put either monitors in their homes, like people need a meter, right, actually on the television set that monitors exactly what they're watching and when they're watching it. They have a larger number of people that they do television diaries. What did I watch today? How long did I watch it for? Blah blah blah. And then they've gone to something called local people meters, which is a more sophisticated device that tracks when your TV is on and what's on particular TV at any particular time. Now, it doesn't measure engagement. It doesn't say, oh, this person's actually sitting in the room while the TV's on. It just says the TV's on. But that's what Nielsen does, and they come up every day with the ratings based on any number of measurements. So it's live viewing, it's live plus same day. So if you watch a show but you TiVo it, but you watch it that same day, then they measure that. If you watch only the commercials, but you watch it within 3 days of the show airing, they measure that, and that right now is the currency of how advertisers pay networks. So advertisers care less whether you watch our shows, they just want to know whether you watch our commercials, which is insane. And then there's 7-day window. But the biggest push that's going on now in the business, one of the biggest pushes, is the media companies have gotten together and have created a coalition to come up with a better way to measure people viewing content on any platform at any time. So it's not just watching TV at a particular time, but it's watching, streaming a show, like an episode of 30 Rock. If somebody's watching it tonight at 9:30, great, they measure that. But if that same episode is watched by somebody tomorrow at 3 p.m. on Hulu, that gets measured as well. Now, if somebody's watching an episode of that same episode on iTunes 3 days from now, that gets measured. And all that information gets compiled that this particular episode of 30 Rock was watched by this many people over this period of time on these particular days. And then we can monetize that.
It's the county ratings of all sources, not just television, but
Exactly.
other sources will be watching.
Exactly.
Get a higher ratings.
Exactly, and gives us the ability to get paid for people who watch our shows on other than when it's scheduled.
We'll take a few more questions.
Hi, I was just wondering, you mentioned that you wanted to keep Jay Leno with the network, but I also remember maybe, what was it, 3-4 years ago that his, the date that he would be leaving was announced well in advance. I was wondering why that initial decision, if you still wanted to keep him with the company.
Why the initial decision was made to move him out of the Tonight Show?
To announce when he would be leaving.
Well, the decision was made, it was a very, very tough decision. To Michael's question, it was probably one of the toughest decisions I've ever been involved in. It wasn't a decision I made alone, believe me. But the decision was made by our head of late night programming with all of our involvement that Jay Leno in 2009 was going to be 59, almost 60 years old. That his audience was getting older because it aged with him. And that the audience that watches late night television is generally the younger side of the 18 to 49 demographic. And that the Conan O'Brien's audience in the 12:30 show was the younger side of 18 to 49, and they would get older, so that by 2009, they were going to be approaching the sweet spot for advertisers for the 18 to 49 demographic. We were going to lose Conan O'Brien. He was going to go to Fox. This is in 2005. 2005. So the decision was made, if we have to lose Conan or Jay, who would you choose? The decision was made to lose Jay, not Conan. Keep Conan because he was, going to be that person that can carry on the Tonight Show for 15 more years, whereas Jay was going to get older and not be able to carry it on. So the thought was at the time. And so the decision was made to go with Conan. And the reason it was announced when it was announced was because we knew it was going to leak, and we wanted to get out ahead of it. And so we went to Jay, and Jay was, incredibly gracious about it, and wanted to be out there with the announcement as well, because as Jay himself said, I don't want the transition for my successor to be as difficult as the transition was for me, Jay, when Johnny Carson handed it over to him, and that was a very difficult transition. So that decision was made, we stuck by that decision, and then as the years went on, Jay was not getting any weaker, he was only getting stronger. His audience was growing, he was more vibrant than ever, and about a year ago, we were like, or over a year ago, believe me, like 3 years ago, like, oh my God, we can't lose him. What are we gonna do? So then we started coming up with any number of scenarios to entice him to stay, so that we could have our cake and eat it too. And ultimately, he bit at the 10 o'clock